Hello there, watching the Breakfast News with me, Aishwarya Kapoor. And the big story is coming in from Kashmir, where 4 militants have been gunned down in Rampur sector as Indian Army foiled infiltration bid. Also, an encounter is underway in Samutral sector of Jammu and Kashmir, where 2 terrorists are still present in their hideouts. All the details on that big story and much more coming up, starting with the headlines. 2 infiltrations bids foiled in Jammu and Kashmir in 24 hours. 4 terrorists killed in Rampur sector. Search operations on in Tral. NCP and CPIM, only 2 parties to register for EVM hack challenge. Congress seeks relaxation in terms. CBSE to announce the Class 12 results on 28th of May to follow Delhi High Court order on moderation policy. Rain-triggered floods and landslides claim over 90 lives in Sri Lanka. India dispatches the ships with relief material. And Egypt launches airstrikes in Libya after attack on Coptic Christians. 6 strikes hit Derna. President Sisi says will strike terror camps anywhere. Big story coming in from Jammu and Kashmir. An infiltration bid has been foiled by the security forces in Jammu and Kashmir's Rampur sector. Now, so this is the second bid in 24 hours. 4 terrorists have also been gunned down in the action by the security forces. Following that, search operations are in the process. Now, Rampur sector, remember, is adjacent to the Uri sector, where the army on Friday foiled an attack by Pakistan's border action team and killed 2 intruders. Meanwhile, a massive encounter is also underway in Samutral sector of Jammu and Kashmir, as 2 to 3 terrorists are still trapped there. The security forces are trying to smoke them out from their hideouts. A cordon and search operation is currently underway in Tral. And earlier on Friday, the army foiled an attack by Pakistan's border action team, or the BAT, on a patrol party along the line of control in Uri sector of Kashmir. 2 militants were killed in that operation. Now, PTI is quoting police sources as saying that bodies of the 2 slain militants were lying in man's land along the line of control. Army sources said that the 2 armed intruders infiltrated from a Pakistani post, which is 200 meters from the LOC in the area. In the exchange of fire, both were neutralized at a distance of 500 meters from the line of control in the Indian side. Now, 1 AK-47 rifle, 1 pistol and other warlike stores were also recovered from the terrorists. And now an update on the EVM hackathon. Well, the Sharad Pawar-led NCP and the CPIM are the only 2 parties to accept the Election Commission's challenge to try and demonstrate that EVMs can be tampered with. The deadline to register for the EVM hack challenge ended on Friday. Notably, the Aam Aadmi Party and the BSP, which were the most vocal in questioning the reliability of the machines, were a no-show. Lalu Prasad-led RJD's application for the challenge also stood rejected as it missed the 5 p.m. deadline. Meanwhile, the Congress, which opted out of the challenge, urged the poll panel to relax the extensive terms and conditions that prevents challengers from conducting a thorough test of the EVMs. The challenge, which takes place on 3rd of June, allows each participating party to have 3 members. They will get 4 hours to prove that the machines can be tampered with. The parties will be given 4 machines deployed in the recently held assembly polls. On to some other news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi-led NDA government on Friday completed 3 years in office. While addressing a rally in Guwahati, Prime Minister Modi said that optimism had replaced despair in the country. The Prime Minister reiterated that people have faith in his government despite some of the tough decisions like demonetization of high-value notes. He also said that his government was committed to build a new India that would fulfill the aspirations of people in 5 years. Now, accusing the previous governments of following what he called the British-era tradition of mistrust, he said that the BJP has a different style of working. Celebrations of the government's anniversary, which also coincides with the first year of the BJP government in Assam, will last for 20 days. Ministers and leaders from the BJP are participating in various programs across the country that are being called Modi Fests.
हर किसी के दिल में एक आशा जगी है, नहीं जरूर होगा, कुछ न कुछ अच्छा होगा, हम जरूर आगे बढ़ेंगे, देश दुनिया में ताकतवर बनेगा, ये विश्वास हिंदुस्तान के कोटि कोटि जनों में आज पैदा हुआ है। भाइयों बहनों, हम 5 साल देश के लिए कुछ करने का संकल्प करें, न्यू इंडिया बनाने का संकल्प करें, जहां हर काम में हमारे अपने सपने नजर आते हो, ऐसे कामों को आगे बढ़ाना है।
An opposition Congress party launched a scathing attack on the Modi-led BJP government, reminding the nation that the government policies are anti-poor and anti-people. Now, Congress had alleged that distraction, propaganda, falsification of facts, intolerance and insulting of political opponents, as well as questioning the wisdom of intellectuals, has been the hallmark of the BJP-led NDA government. Now, claiming that there was no economic growth and the country has been witnessing a flat growth instead, the Congress party demanded the government to make public the GDP numbers as per the old formula. Let's listen in to some of the reactions that came in.
खुशियां मना रहे हैं, जश्न मना रहे हैं, पर मेरा प्रश्न है, कौन सा वर्ग इस देश में ये खुशियां मना रहा है? क्या नौजवान खुशियां मना रहे हैं? क्या किसान खुशियां मना रहे हैं? क्या मजदूर, क्या व्यापारी खुशियां मना रहे हैं? ये खुशियां और ये जश्न सीमित है भारतीय जनता पार्टी और एनडीए सरकार तक।
ऑल फ्रंट पर मोदी फेल। हमारे सीमा के अंदर आके पाकिस्तान के सैनिक टेररिस्ट मार के निकल जाते हैं और नौजवानों से लेके जितना भी वादा किया था सब फिल्म फेल।
The horrible situation regarding Kashmir, Saharanpur and all, demonetization and the torture, the julum that they have discussed all.
दलित वर्ग के लोग हैं, वीकर सेक्शन के लोग हैं, रिलीजियस माइनॉरिटीज के लोग हैं, गरीब लोग हैं, किसान लोग हैं, इनकी हालत बहुत ज्यादा खराब है।
And earlier, kicking off celebrations to mark 3 years of the NDA government, Prime Minister Narendra Modi opened the country's longest bridge over the Brahmaputra River on Friday. The bridge has been designed to accommodate the movement of tanks, keeping in mind the need for the quick movement of troops and artillery to the bordering state of Arunachal Pradesh. The Dhola-Sadia bridge will reduce travel time between Assam and Arunachal Pradesh by 4 hours.
Marking the 3rd anniversary of the NDA government, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated India's longest river bridge over the Brahmaputra in Assam on Friday. The 9.15 kilometer long bridge has a 3-lane carriageway and connects Sadia town in Assam's Tinsukia district with Dhola village in Arunachal Pradesh. The bridge will reduce travel time between Assam and Arunachal Pradesh from 6 hours to just an hour, besides shrinking the distance by 165 kilometers. Modi dedicated the bridge to the nation, naming it after iconic singer Bhupen Hazarika.
स्थायी रूप से विकास को गति देनी है तो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर ये पहली आवश्यकता होती है। फिजिकल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, सोशल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, ये 2 पटरी पर संतुलित विकास संभव होता है।
The bridge will improve civilian and military movement to strategic locations all the way to Anini in Arunachal Pradesh, about 100 kilometers from India's border with China. It will also reduce 2 days travel time for the armed forces to reach the border.
अगर हम इस क्षेत्र को एक विश्व स्तरीय इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के नमूने के रूप में तैयार करें तो पूरे साउथ ईस्ट एशिया उसकी इकोनॉमी के केंद्र बिंदु में भारत का यह भूभाग बहुत बड़ी अहम भूमिका अदा कर सकता है।
Launched a decade ago under the UPA government, the bridge is among a series of infrastructure projects fast-tracked by the NDA government since 2014. The Prime Minister also laid the foundation stone for an Indian Agricultural Research Institute in Assam's Dhemaji district and for the first AIIMS in Northeast in Guwahati. The NDA government, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, was sworn in 3 years ago after it came to power with a massive mandate in the 2014 Lok Sabha elections. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And ahead of the presidential polls, Congress President Sonia Gandhi hosted a lunch for the leaders of the opposition parties. After the meeting, the parties put up a united stance and decided to field its own candidate for the presidential polls if the NDA government fails to come up with a consensus candidate. The leaders of 17 parties discussed the possibility of fielding a joint candidate for president to take on the BJP-led NDA's nominee. The meeting is seen as a show of strength by the opposition parties on a day when the NDA government completed 3 years in office. Now, BSP's Mayawati, RJD Chief Lalu Yadav, CPIM Sitaram Yechuri, CPI's D. Raja, DMK's Kani Mori, Omar Abdullah of the National Conference and the JP leader Sharad Yadav were among those who attended this lunch. Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi, former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh and senior party leaders like Ahmed Patel, Ghulam Nabi Azad and A.K. Antony were also present. President Pranab Mukherjee's term ends in July and the ruling BJP-led NDA front is yet to name its candidate for the country's top post.
If acceptable, consensual candidates do not emerge, then we, that means the opposition parties, shall decide to field such persons who shall steadfastly defend the constitutional values of our republic.
हमारा मकसद है कि इस पद पर संविधान की रक्षा करने वाला आदमी बैठे। चाहते हैं कि सरकारी पक्ष से ये प्रस्ताव आए, नहीं आया तो फिर हम लोग तय किया है कि फिर ये देश की जिस तरह की हालात हैं उसमें राजनीतिक लड़ाई के लिए हम लोग अपना प्रत्याशी खड़ा करेंगे।
ऑल फ्रंट पर मोदी फेल। एक चीज में सफल हुए मोदी कि आज़ादी के बाद मोदी के शासन में पाकिस्तान का झंडा लहर रहा है जम्मू और कश्मीर में, पाकिस्तान का झंडा, और हमारे सीमा के अंदर आके पाकिस्तान के सैनिक टेररिस्ट मार के निकल जाते हैं और नौजवानों से लेके जितना ही वादा किया था सब फेल।
Meanwhile, after skipping the opposition meet hosted by Congress President Sonia Gandhi, now Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar will be attending the lunch hosted by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in honor of visiting Mauritius Prime Minister Pravind Jugnauth at his residence. Now, Nitish Kumar said that he is attending the lunch as he has been invited. The Bihar Chief Minister will also be meeting the Prime Minister following the lunch regarding the issue of national policy of desiltation of river Ganga. The meeting comes amid a speculation of a political realignment in Bihar.
नहीं जाने की बात नहीं है, ये उसको कहिए मिस इंटरप्रिटेशन। हमारे कोई व्यक्तिगत रूप से जाने न जाने की बात नहीं थी। बात है विभिन्न दलों को उन्होंने आमंत्रित किया और हमारे दल से भी प्रारंभ से ही बता दिया था। हमारी पार्टी की तरफ से शरद जी उसमें शामिल हुए हैं और पहले ही से तय था हमारी पार्टी को कि वो जाएगी।
And Mauritius Prime Minister Pravind Jugnauth was given a ceremonial reception at the Rashtrapati Bhavan today. He arrived in Delhi on Friday on a 3-day visit to the country. He will be holding delegation-level talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi later today. During the first day of his visit, Jugnauth held discussions with Home Minister Rajnath Singh, Railway Minister Suresh Prabhu, Petroleum and Natural Gas Minister Dharmendra Pradhan. Now, this is Jugnauth's first visit abroad after taking over as Prime Minister. And what else is making news across the country? Let's find out in Nationwide. The BJP got absolute majority in Panvel Municipal Corporation, while the Congress emerged the winner in Bhiwandi Civic Body. In the 78-member Panvel Civic Body, the BJP won 51. In the 84-member Malegaon Civic Body, the Congress won 28 seats. 5 persons were killed in a lightning strike in Bihar's Katihar district. This even as intense heat wave continued across several parts of the country. Churu in Rajasthan recording a high of 49 degrees Celsius. A proposal to increase the Sikkim Assembly seats from 32 to 40 is under the consideration of the central government. The centre has sought views and suggestions on the draft plan from various stakeholders. Suggestions have been invited latest by 26th of June. B.S. Yediyurappa will be the BJP's chief ministerial face in the assembly polls scheduled early next year. This was announced by BJP President Amit Shah yesterday. Now, Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani would also be the party's choice for the top post in the state. The party, however, is yet to decide on a face for Himachal Pradesh. In News at 10, we'll take a very short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome. I'm Amritan Shura and you're watching Law of the Land.
It's a very good step in the sense that it will speed up the process of the inquiry and the investigation.
The broader picture is very positive. People are welcoming this move.
Taxation Laws Amendment Act 2017 is an attempt to synchronize the proposed GST regime with the existing taxation statutes.
Watch Law of the Land on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. After the break, now an update on the CBSE results and putting an end to the uncertainty over Class 12 results. The Central Board of Secondary Education announced that it will be declared on 28th of May. And the board also maintained that it will follow the Delhi High Court order on moderation policy, which was scrapped last month, and said it will continue with it. HRD Minister Prakash Javadekar had assured students that there will be no delay in the results and justice will be done to everyone. The minister's comments came against the backdrop of the High Court order that the decision by the CBSE, which would come into effect from this year, would have a drastic effect on the students. Now, moderation policy refers to a practice in which students are given extra marks in subjects which are regarded unusually difficult or when there have been differences in the sets of question papers. A total of 10,98,891 candidates from 10,678 schools registered for the exams. Delhi region has the highest number of candidates. And now an update on the missing Sukhoi jet, and the wreckage of the Indian Air Force's Sukhoi 30 fighter jet was finally spotted on Friday after 3 days of search operations. The fate of the crew, however, is still unknown. The fighter plane went missing with the 2 pilots on board on Tuesday after taking off from Tezpur Air Base in Assam for a routine training mission. The wreckage has been found in a heavily forested area about 60 kilometers from Tezpur. The Air Force station is 172 kilometers from the China border. Now, search parties from the army are trekking to the crash site, but their progress has been slow due to bad weather. Meanwhile, the Air Force has ordered a court of inquiry into the accident. The country's frontline Sukhoi 30 MKI aircraft was inducted in the Tezpur Air Base in June 2009. Now, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi has been denied permission to visit Saharanpur for a scheduled visit today by the authorities there. Rahul Gandhi was scheduled to visit Saharanpur, and the village was Sabirpur, where Dalit houses were torched on 5th of May. Earlier this week, Mayawati had visited the district and had blamed the ruling BJP for disrupting law and order. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court turned down an urgent hearing on a petition seeking probe into the violence in Saharanpur. The bench rejected the plea that called for urgent judicial intervention, taking in view the critical situation there. The court, however, said that there was no urgency and the petition may be heard after the court's summer break. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has blamed conspiracy for mitigating the peaceful atmosphere in his state. He said that his government was making all-out efforts to restore law and order and bring out the state from a situation of jungle raj and lawlessness.
के अंदर एक कॉन्स्पिरेसी के तहत वातावरण को दूषित करने का प्रयास किया गया था और जो कॉन्स्पिरेटर थे उनके चेहरे से भी बहुत जल्दी हम लोग नकाब उतारेंगे। एक योजनाबद्ध तरीके से, क्योंकि 2 महीने का जो कार्यकाल है सरकार का, उसको विरोधी पचा नहीं पा रहे हैं और इस कारण से हर दिन एक नया षड्यंत्र करने की कोशिश करते हैं।
बार बार इनके नेता लोग कहते हैं विरासत में मिला है, विरासत में मिला है तो नीचे उतर आओ। जब तुमसे नहीं संभाला जा रहा है तो इस बार बार ये कह के तो इससे निजात नहीं मिल सकती ना।
दलितों के साथ घर जलाए गए और झगड़ा हुआ, फिर उसने जातीय संघर्ष का रूप ले लिया और इस देश में, प्रदेश में और देश में अगर ये चीज़ फैल जाती है तो फिर कोई नियंत्रित नहीं कर सकता।
सब लोग बराबरी और सम्मान से जीना चाहते हैं, ये वो सम्मान प्रदान नहीं करना चाहते हैं, वो संवैधानिक अधिकार देना नहीं चाहते हैं। उसकी वजह से इस तरह का टकराव पैदा हुआ और मैं कहूँगा कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार पूरी तौर से जिम्मेदार है।
Former DGP of Punjab KPS Gill passed away on Friday after suffering a cardiac arrest in Delhi. He was 82. Gill was admitted at the Sir Gangaram Hospital after he was diagnosed with end-stage kidney failure and a serious heart disease as well. The IPS officer had served twice as the DGP in Punjab before retiring from the force in 1995. He is widely credited with wiping out militancy from the state. Dubbed as a super cop by the media for his crackdown on Khalistani terrorists, Gill was awarded the Padma Shri in 1989. He was subsequently appointed the president of the Indian Hockey Federation. Now, several dignitaries, including the Prime Minister, have expressed their condolences.
अफसोस होया कि पंजाब दे साडे साबका डीजीपी ਉਹ ਅੱਜ ਪੂਰੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨੇ। ਇਹ ਇੱਕ ਸ਼ਖਸ ਨੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਬੜੀ ਔਖੀ ਘੜੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਡਟ ਕੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਫੋਰਸ ਦੀ ਲੀਡरशिप की थी।
पंजाब देश से टूट जाता, पंजाब खालिस्तान की तरफ बन जाता, पंजाब एक पाकिस्तान से मिलने की स्थिति हो जाती। पर केपीएस गिल जो ऐसे बहादुर थे जिन्होंने मौत का कफन बांध करके लड़ाई लड़ी और पंजाब को अमन शांति दिया। आज
News from neighbouring Sri Lanka, where at least 91 people have been killed and more than 100 are missing after torrential rains that triggered floods and landslides in that country. Now, following a request from the Sri Lankan government, India has dispatched 2 ships with relief material and has also sent special medical teams to the country. The early rainy season downpours have forced hundreds of people from their homes across the Indian Ocean island. While military boats and helicopters have been sent to help rescue operations, authorities have appealed to the United Nations and other neighbouring countries for assistance. Sri Lanka's Disaster Management Centre said that the death toll was rising as reports are filtered in from outlying areas. Evacuation notices have also been issued to residents along the Kelani River, which flows through Colombo amid fears that it was about to burst its banks. Now, with heavy rainfall expected to continue, people are being advised to move away from swollen rivers and hills that are prone to landslides. On to some other international news. The leaders of the Group of 7 or G7 industrialized nations signed a joint declaration on combating terrorism. The 15-point document says that the fight against violent extremism is a major priority of the G7, which will bring the fight to a higher level by relentlessly preventing, investigating and prosecuting terrorist acts, their perpetrators and supporters. The G7 leaders also pledged to combat the misuse of the internet by terrorists. They called on internet giants to crack down on extremist content. The G7 consists of Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK and the United States, while the EU also has representatives present. But the summit in Taormina in Sicily failed to agree on climate change. On Saturday, that is the second and final day, the leaders are expected to discuss human mobility, food security and gender equality.
I think that we showed with this declaration our unity, our commitment, our determination to continue and strengthen our fighting against terrorism. And after what happened a few days ago in Manchester, this is also a message of friendship and community with UK.
Thank you, Paolo, and thank you to everybody sitting around this table for the support that you have shown to the United Kingdom in the face of this absolutely horrific attack that took place. And I think it is important that as leaders we have shown our fierce determination to ensure that we use every tool available to us to fight against terrorism and protect our people.
And a big story coming in from Libya, where the Egyptian military has carried out several airstrikes against purported terrorist training camps. The report said that the Egyptian warplanes carried out at least 6 airstrikes against terror camps in the eastern Libyan city of Derna. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi said that the strike was in retaliation to an attack on Coptic Christians. Earlier in the day, the gunmen had attacked a bus carrying worshippers in central Egypt, killing at least 28 people and wounding 25 others. Although no group claimed responsibility for that attack, Islamic State militants have targeted Copts several times in recent months. Egyptian state media reported that the militants targeted were the ones who had been involved in the attack on Egyptian Christians. Now, President Sisi said that he would not hesitate to strike terrorist camps anywhere. Announcing the strike on a television speech late on Friday, he promised to protect his people from the evil. He added that countries supporting terrorism should be punished. Sisi also appealed to US President Donald Trump for help.
اللي انتوا شفتوه النهارده مش هيعدي كده. المعسكرات اللي خرجت منها واللي بيتم التدريب فيها للعناصر ديت وانا بكلمكم دلوقتي تم توجيه ضربه ليها جامده جدا. وبالمناسبه مصر لن تتردد ابدا في توجيه ضربات ضد معسكرات الارهاب في اي مكان.
And what else is making news across the globe? Let's find out in World Wrap. The Syrian army is in full control of the highway from Damascus to ancient Palmyra for the first time since 2014 after driving out Hadiths. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights informed this on Friday. It is noteworthy that since troops recaptured Palmyra from the Islamic State group in March, the UNESCO World Heritage Site has been accessible via the city of Homs. But after major advances on Thursday night, the army now controls the direct road from the capital to Palmyra. The US military will try to intercept an intercontinental ballistic missile in a landmark test of a defense system. The move comes amid broad tensions over North Korea's weapons program. Now scheduled for Tuesday, the test is the first time that the military will attempt to intercept an ICBM. Previous trials have been against intermediate range missiles, which are slower. The US says that it takes full responsibility for the leaks of the British police investigation into bomb attack in Manchester, which killed 22 people. Appearing alongside British Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson in London, US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson said that across all America, hearts are broken at the news of Manchester attack. British police briefly suspended intelligence sharing with the US after private details of their investigation appeared in American media. And the holy month of Ramadan has begun, and one can see the preparations across the world for the festive season. Now, Ramadan, the 9th month in the Islamic calendar, is the time when Muslims refrain from drinking and eating from dusk to dawn and are encouraged to practice their faith. The time of the Ramadan varies in different Muslim countries depending on the sighting of the new moon, which marks the start of the month in the Islamic calendar. In India, it begins from Sunday. So here is a glimpse at how the world welcomed the Ramadan this year. Take a look. Thanks for watching.